G'day everybody, welcome back to episode number 35 of the Zero Access Footy podcast. My name is Reese and I'm joined by Bim again for yet another...
No, the Premiership quarter intro.
Sorry, the Premiership quarter...
No, keep it as Bim. Keep it at Bim.
Okay, Bim then. You're so indecisive. Either way,
boy.
We're going to be talking about our trade deadline, shenanigans. We had a lot of fun on Wednesday night as to how we kind of looked at how all of that went down because... Some shocks, and I think the way we both described it was so much yet so little. It was the best way to put it.
It was the greatest entertainment, but like the WWE, it was all scripted and nothing actually happened.
We've got some crowd interaction with that one. That was so brutal. But we're going to have a look at all the teams and kind of give an idea. We did a really brief version of it during the stream, but we wanted to do a bit more of a overall look now. We've had about a week of time to kind of look over it, weigh it all up, and have a look as to how we decide each team's, I guess, grade. We kind of tend to go to grades, so we're going to do so again when discussing the trade deadline discussion. So first off, we've got Adelaide, and considering that their goal was to hopefully improve, they didn't really do all that much of that. You've got all of the trades in and outs, or at least the best of your ability on your screen. So let me know, who came in and who came out for Adelaide?
Well, they made the surprise trade of Finbar O'Malley, which I don't think...
You keep saying O'Malley, it's Maley.
Shut up.
Finbar Maley.
Finbar O'Malley. I don't know why I think O'Malley. I don't know where from.
It could just be the name itself. Makes
Probably
you
just
think.
autistic.
Yeah, it's probably a bit of that.
Yeah.
Either way.
So, yeah, they made that trade where they got sort of backup ruckman, and bit of a key forward.
More of a key
tweener.
forward. If they put him in the ruck, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, that's what... who was I listening to? I think it might have been Damien Barrett saying that, where they were looking to him be a versatile around the ground.
Like, I could see he's athletic. I could see them turning him into something like that.
He's just a contested base. That's where I see
is.
him. They got him for pick 57 and a future fourth, also getting back pick 64. Nothing really in that, to be honest. Everything else I'm seeing here is nothing because obviously the big thing that they were going for was Callum Archie. Didn't end up getting that deal done. They were wanting to give up a future second, even said we'll give up a third as well. Brisbane wanted a future first. He's a free agent, so he'll probably be walked to the preseason draft. That means other teams can take him, but it has to be on a salary that he's nominated, which means he can do it however he wants, and every team that might want to bid on him has to take that on. Only certain teams can, which is why he'll probably go to Adelaide anyway.
Yeah.
Overall, pretty disappointing, considering finish first, out into straight sets, and you don't really improve out externally.
Yeah, and there's only so much they can really do now internally, isn't there?
Yeah.
You can only expect certain players to rise now from what they've already got because of the fact that they're in their window now. There's no more bottom four. All right, we'll add some more talent and then we'll make the step up. The step up's been made. The likes of Dan Curtin and all that, they're going to hope that we'll continue to improve. The players who've already stood up in 2025 will do so again in 2026. Yeah, just disappointing they didn't get the players they wanted, but we'll wait and see because Archie, he's the question mark in regards to this team. How does he get there? And it leads me to the Brisbane point, but before we get there, do you have a grade for him?
I'm just thinking they obviously going to rely on a lot on internal improvement, and with that, I feel like it was pretty disappointing that they didn't go for more. And so you're looking at, sure, you get Cal Archie. Is he really going to make a difference? Like I'm looking here, Taylor Walker's their oldest player. Then you got Brody Smith, Rory Laird, Riley O'Brien, Neil Bullen, Keys Dawson, all over 28 as well. Isaac Cumming was 26, which is the right age. But aside from that, they're a pretty old, like in their prime list. They've got a few olders and they've got a fair few youngers who push it up. I feel like they really could have gone harder. And so I'm a bit disappointed in them in terms of their overall trade period.
Petrarca is also that one where
they weren't willing to give that extra. I feel like they could have gone for something else.
But they do have a lot of youth. They do.
Yeah, there is 100%. But again, relying on that to push you up is really inconsistent thing to do.
Either way, I'm going to push you for a rank.
C minus.
I was going to go the same thing. Mainly reliant on Callum Archie getting there. If he does get there eventually, I'd give it a C. Give it an average because they didn't really disappear or do poorly, but they didn't do what they should have.
I'm changing my grade. D plus. If he gets there, I'll give it a C minus. I just think you want to be in that top end. That's what finishing first does to a team. It means you need to be there year after year. I don't think they've made the moves to be able to do that.
Yep, that's fair. Brisbane, though,
Very active.
very active. And if it wasn't for the Archie situation, then it'd be a flawless one because they basically lose Archie for nothing now.
Yeah.
Unless they can somehow retain him, but they
No.
can't, can they?
Adelaide go before them.
Yeah, exactly.
So the only way that they can retain him is if they somehow agree to terms on a new deal with him, which both the Adelaide list management and his manager, I believe, have come out and said he's going to Adelaide anyway.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much
So
guaranteed.
not getting a trade will definitely hurt them in the long run.
I saw somewhere that it was like they're taking a stand and that they'd rather be not pushed over and show that that's not who we are as a club. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, but at the same time, you get nothing back.
If you were a club that was struggling for an identity, I would understand that. But you're a back-to-back premiership team. You should be able to make these inconsequential choices. I don't think anyone's going at you for not backing yourself up
it's
at
not
this
like
point.
the Zach Merritt situation, which
Exactly.
we will get to. But aside from that, brought in Oscar Allen and Sam Draper as 2 free agents. Don't need to trade anything for them, and given you're not overpaying them an extraordinary amount, you take that every day of the week. Get in those 2. Trade out Brandon Starcevich as well, which you sort of wanted to do so that obviously with bringing on Oscar Allen, it's not a total net in, net out. Well, that is what it is, but you don't obviously lose that pick. And that's what West Coast would want, so they don't lose their pick. And overall, I think they got a pretty good trade in that as well. I'll get it up here. So West Coast gets pick 12, 33 and 52, as well as Brandon Starcevich. Fremantle ended up getting 19, 23 and 46. And then Brisbane got 16, 22, 44 and 50. So they ended up giving up pick 19 and 52 and Brandon Starcevich, obviously, to get back 16, 22, 44 and 50.
Which is really good in.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets you 16, 22, which obviously allows you to then say, the top 5 pick, we've got the points for you. And then aside from that, didn't really do much else.
Yeah. So it's the big names that they've aimed to bring in. They are the only top 4 team that did that, which is insane to think about. We didn't see Geelong do it. And we didn't see Collingwood do it. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff that one out of the top 4 teams is going to be in this improvement. Is going to be improved, and it's the back-to-back premier.
It's nuts. They did also involve in a pick swap with Brisbane, with Collingwood, but that didn't really change too much.
Yeah, it's not much to really worry about.
No,
Either way, A+.
How can it not be?
Yeah.
The best just get, the rich get richer.
Exactly.
That's all it is. Like, you lose a key position player in Starcevich, you get 2 back.
Yeah, and the fact that the draft is bringing them in a top 5 talent. My God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Carlton. For Carlton, it depends on how you want to look at it.
Trade period wise, you look at every single deal they were in, you go like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. You know what? Fair value for all those players. You then take a step back and you look at their total ins versus their total outs, and you're like, oh, fuck. They've been shafted here.
You think so? Because a lot of people have talked big things about the Carlton haul.
Sorry, I don't think we gave a grade for Brisbane.
No, we did. We said A+. Yeah.
Okay. Well, me.
Either way.
Me special.
Carlton, what does the big picture look like for them?
Big picture is it's a retooling of their list.
Yeah.
And so you can understand the point of, okay, anyone who doesn't really want to be here, you can get out. It seems to be very much Charlie Curnow, you're too much of a me player, at least in this market. We don't need you anymore. We've still got a key position player in Harry Mackay who can fill that role. We want to even out our list rather than just being fully top-ended. We want to get in players like Will Hayward, get in players like Ollie Florent, get in players like Campbell Chesser. We want to deepen our list. And I think they did that pretty well. Overall, they've set themselves up really well for the next 3 drafts. Obviously, you're going to get Harry Dean in this year's draft, which is a top 10 player. Then you're going to get Cody Walker in next year's draft, which they've got 2 first-round picks, which is what you're going to need. And that sets them up really well. They've got pick 9 and 11 in this year's draft, which, given they're going to be able to get the Twin Towers out now in Mackay and Curnow. You get that? Did you get that, Chuck?
Shut up.
Did you get it?
I know it's something stupid.
This is 9/11 and then the Twin Towers splitting.
You had to.
Absolutely, I had to. Absolutely, yeah. So they're going to need more points for Harry Dean, obviously, and they'll use pick 9 and 11. I think they should trade back at least one of them for 2 second-round picks, and then get a future first in for the other one. And that sets them up really well. And potentially having 3 picks in next year's draft to where your Sydneys don't necessarily match that Harry Dean. You can get in that extra to trade up, get 2, easy done. I don't know. It's really hard with Carlton, to be honest. It's just a iffy team for next year that I don't know which way they're going to go.
Well, depending on how you want to look at it, I've always understood this is the idea that if you want to look at it from a culture perspective, this is it feels a little bit like a drain out of what they like. And it's only been the real disappearance of one major player.
Yeah.
I think what they brought in, especially considering that they have a clear pathway for the future, the fact that they've brought in what they have, you got the Will Hayward, you got Oliver Florent, you've got the Harry Dean coming in, you've got the Cody Walker coming in, you got Jagger Smith, who's still yet to play.
Yeah.
You've still got Cripps and Walsh, you've still got Jacob Wiedering, you've still got plenty of things all around the park to help you out. I think it's been a really, really decent offseason. Again, when you are losing one of your top players, you do have that perspective of, oh no, we've lost a lot of talent, but what they brought in, 3 first-round picks on draft night, we were both very, very concerned as to why it took 3 first rounds to get Charlie Curnow.
And again, I'll go back to that thing. You look at every trade individually, and it works out well for them. Giving up 41 for a former first-round pick, getting 3 first-round picks and a good player in exchange for Charlie Curnow, and then giving up basically nothing for Liam Reedy. Like, you look at them individually, they all work. But when you consider they lost Jack Silvani, they lost Tom de Koning, and they lost Charlie Curnow, that's a key position player from every single line in their team.
Yeah.
They just got worse. It's factually correct. They've set themselves up better, but they factually got worse. And so I think I'm going to give it a grade, I think, of C-. I would love to give it a B because I think overall, when you consider everything, they did all right. But when you consider they lost so much talent, I think you can't give them anything more than that.
Considering the circumstances, I'm tempted to go average as well. Go with a C. Let's go to Collingwood now. They had a little bit to work with.
Traded away Brody Myercheck and got back like pick 40-something.
But their names were in a lot more. Their names were in a lot more than just that.
Yeah, so Collingwood gets 61 in a future third and gave up pick 71 on Myercheck. They did a pick swap with the Lions as well that I mentioned before, where they got 45 and 56, which are going to be points for one of their academy players, who I think is Zach McCarthy, who's a key position player. Sort of fits in nicely, losing Myercheck, getting in. And they also got Jack Buller for a future third-round pick.
Yeah, so it's small stuff. Maybe losing Check is a great, but
he's
Jack Buller's a young bloke.
Yeah,
Jack Buller's a young bloke who hopefully will burst out a bit more with that team. I think it's always seeming to be a case of maybes. And I think even Josh Dacos had mentioned this when Bailey Humphrey was being swung around a little bit. Their names are always put into the race, but 9 times out of 10, they're not at the club the next season. So that does seem to be playing on the player's mind. It seems to be yet another season where that's happened.
Yeah.
I don't know how you grade this one positively, really, if you're a Collingwood fan. I think you're finding yourself stalling a little bit here. You showed a lot of signs of falling off the top of the perch as the season kept going on. So improvement was really needed. And yet again, another top 4 side that didn't.
Yeah, I mean, technically got younger, but at the same time, when you consider everyone else on their list getting a year older, it doesn't really change much.
You're still relying on likes of Pendlebury, likes of Sidebottom.
They haven't really replenished their list like I thought they would. And I just don't see it with their trades at all. I don't see it with this team for next year. And whilst that is sort of previewing them, I suppose that's what you need to do when you consider they haven't done much.
The grade for me is a D.
Yeah, I considering I missed out on Silvani in free agency as well.
They missed out on a lot, and that's crazy because it's Collingwood.
They didn't even go for someone like Jack Steele or Jai Simpkin. They didn't properly go for that. They didn't get
I think the
value
Jai
for anything.
Simpkin, and we'll talk about it in the North stuff, the
Yeah.
Jai Simpkin situation was
That's
like
just
both
Brady
sides
Rawlings.
had like different ideas.
Yeah, that's just Brady Rawlings being Brady
Rawlings masterclass. But I've given a D. What are you doing?
D-.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a fail.
F. It's
I wouldn't call it a
borderline-
fail, but it's definitely not what they wanted.
It's a borderline F.
I want to skip Essendon and Hawthorn when they come around too, because I want us to talk about them a bit more in depth when we get to the end.
Nah, we'll just get straight into it.
You want to?
Yeah, just get straight into it.
All right, Essendon, you idiots. Oh, man. For me, this is F-. This is F- and a half. I don't know how anyone has been able to get the positives out of it other than this cultural idea of keeping your captain. Guys, he does not want to play for your club. I'm being as genuine as I possibly can with this. Zach Merritt does not want to play for your football club anymore. All you've done is lost his value, and you're going to waste another year with him. You're not going to get as much back now. The unbelievable asking price he had for him that ruined the trade, as well as Hawthorn not being able to take the fantastic trade that you offered them in the first place. Like, this is a failure on both halves, but I want to go through Essendon's side first. The fact that I've seen positives, like this is the club standing up for themselves, that sentimental stuff needs to be thrown out the window.
I've got a question
Essendon have
for
tried
you.
to be sentimental for 20 years and it hasn't worked.
I've got a question for you. Do you think that them being so open in the media about we have to keep Merritt, that even if they got a good offer for them, it would have been so bad for them to rescind their word and their actions that they've said that they had to say, no, we can't trade you anyway?
No, because what you would have done is taken all the stuff that they gave you. You know, the regular news cycle would have been maybe 3 weeks max before we stop talking about that. And we go, oh, really cool that Essendon now have all these draft picks they can use to draft up into the top 3. No, that's so short term. Who cares? Who cares? You're going to find someone eventually that brings in a bit of, that spirit, that fighting spirit that Essendon has looked for a really long time. Zach Merritt's given it as best as he can. And I'll tell you what would have been just as great, on top of his on-field production, 3 first-round picks and Henry Huswaite.
Well, it's not on top of Merritt, but yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. But the fact that Merritt's given so much and then would have gone out still with a bunch of value, use it to draft yourself in the top of the draft now. If they make any draft day trades, I'm going to be very upset with the way that they've gone about this, because it's a story of two tales. They want to get younger.
A tale of two stories.
That's it. Other way around. They want to get younger, but they don't want to lose their captain. It's like, that's awesome. You want it both ways, but your captain doesn't want it.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Exactly. I hate this whole sentimental thing that Essendon have tried to tell themselves. F-.
What we are grading these off seasons on is where are you trying to go and how have you executed that? For Collingwood, they got a bad grade because they're trying to contend. They didn't get better. For Adelaide, they're trying to contend, didn't get better. Brisbane, they're trying to contend, arguably got better, right? Essendon, they're not trying to contend. They're arguably not trying to even make finals. They're trying to replenish their list with young talent. So that is rebuilding. They have kept a 30-year-old who has maybe 5 years left, which is maybe when they're going to start pushing for finals next. They're going to instead keep him over completely rehauling their list in the offseason.
And the thing is, if you had made this trade happen, you have so many advantages now. You have so many things. One, you get the potential worry about having this captain who doesn't want to be there all season. Do you strip the captaincy from Merritt now? Like, it's just questions on top of questions now that you're going to have all next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just guaranteeing right now, this time next year, they're going to go, oh, wow, we can maybe get a first round out of Zach Merritt now. Maybe. God, it would have been nice if we were able to get those 3 first-round picks again. Unless Merritt has an All-Australian season. Unless that's the case, he's going to struggle to get a first-round pick.
They could have had pick 5, pick 6, pick 10, pick 21, pick 22, and pick 27, and pick 30.
And you would have been able to trade up.
I don't think you understand how insane that is.
Yep. No, I very much do. That's why I'm saying this.
That is 7 picks inside the top 30 of this year's draft. You trade up, you get a top 3 prospect, which is completely a good idea. Trade 6 and 10 for, let's say, pick 2.
You've still got plenty more draft picks. You've got Henry Huswaite, a player who's going to get some midfield time. You get so much value out of it.
I know. And there are only 2 things where they lost Sam Draper, who is a young ruckman. Well, young, but he's like 25.
Injury-prone ruckman.
Injury-prone ruckman, which honestly I think is better for them.
Mm-hmm.
But they only get a pick 21 in that. And you get in Braden Freyarini for a future 3rd-round pick, which is an all right trade. But it could have been, okay, we have a vision. We're going to do it. We're going to implement that vision. But no, they chose to sit and wait and do what they shouldn't be doing. They're waiting. That's all they're doing.
This stinks big time of an Andrew Welsh. I need to put my foot in the sand moment, and I hate it.
But that was my question to you earlier. Do you think because he said what he said in his first press conference, basically, that he's had to follow that up?
I was sitting there the entire time saying, and I'm sorry it's taking so long. It's just Essendon confused the hell out of me with this. The fact that they were saying this big game, I said to myself, this is a fantastic idea. You're getting as much as you can from all of this. You're saying he's off the table. You're going to have to give us something really good if you want to get him. And that's exactly what Hawthorn did. They took the bait. I'm taking that every day of the week because now you've got this problem of, the word I've heard is Merritt is a professional. So that's how he's going to get over it. 95% of the players in the AFL are professionals. And I can guarantee you, Merritt is acting in the exact same way a lot of players in his situation would. He has put his heart and soul on this club for 13 years. They've given him basically nothing in return.
It was just pure entertainment.
And people expected him, and inside the Essendon group, it seemed to be they expected this loyalty from him. Screw that. If he doesn't want to be there, you take 3 first-round picks and you get this young bloke to build around.
It was just entertaining watching that draft again because his manager was literally leaking information to Damien Barrett.
It's so
who then said that shit on trade. Like, I mean, what else can you really give it?
Yeah, it's an F-1.5. I want to stop there because we're going to go on for. It's going to be exactly like the trade deadline night where I just go on forever about it. Freo. Let's talk about Freo. Got in Judd McVee.
Yep,
that was one of their ins that I know for sure. It was a pretty basic trade. Mm-hmm. They lost Will Brodie for pick 103. That was a good one.
Greatest trade of all time.
Yeah. What else was in there as well?
So Judd McVee trade. They was 14. I'll consider it a 14 trade. Yep. So in the end, they got pick 19, Judd McVee and 46, and gave up pick 12, 33, 44, and 50.
It's a fair bit, but
they moved up.
Nothing.
When you consider they moved up. They moved back, got a player, and got a couple picks as well in 23 and 46. They've got 20, Judd McVee, and 47 now. I'm happy with that. If I'm Fremantle, you don't really give up too much. You still have a first-round pick that you can get in a talent, which I think they'll trade back to get some more picks because they've got a couple academy boys later in the draft as well. So I think for them overall, they just didn't do much, but they didn't need to.
It seems very much so that they are hoping that this team's natural curve will go up high enough that they eventually improve to the point of a top 4 side. I just think the teams around them are getting too good.
Yeah, Fremantle also traded away Liam Reedy for pick 50 and 68.
That's right.
Again, just not much in it.
Bit of a C, C plus maybe.
Their direction is they want to win.
Yeah,
obviously. So they're getting in a young player who's going to help them win for the next 10 years. I think that's smart. Could they have gone in a bit harder? Sure. Was there anyone else that really they could go for? Not really.
I think Judd McVee is just a nice top up. I'd say C plus because I didn't expect much.
I'll give it a B minus. I think consider ins and outs. I think they're pretty happy with that overall.
All right. After that, we got Geelong. Bit of a down for this one. They had the 2 big ones on the chopping block, Charlie Curnow and Rowan Marshall. Those were the 2 that were linked to them. Heifers. And they didn't get either of them. I think the Charlie Curnow one, considering what Sydney paid, maybe wasn't a bad idea. But at the same time, all it really says is they weren't going to be competitive. I don't think Geelong was going to be able to do that without either getting rid of a top-tier talent that they probably needed. Obviously, you'd consider the fact that, they're bringing in a really necessary piece into their side with Rowan Marshall being that ruckman that they desperately need to replace Blitzard, replace Stanley, especially Stanley.
My God,
poor bugger.
Stanley.
But then the miss on the Charlie Curnow side is a bit more understandable to me, considering the final result of that Sydney-Carlton trade. I just don't think it would have been able to take enough.
Fix your football, mate.
I didn't even notice that it fell.
Yeah.
All right.
Naughty.
For Geelong, however, while we could go through their in and outs, for me it's pretty simple. Another top 4 side that didn't improve. Mm-hmm. You very clearly needed that extra bit on top. And I had these guys being premiership, my way too early prediction being the Geelong Cats winning it next year because of the fact that they could have seen one of those 2 come in, and that would have been fair. Especially Rowan Marshall. Plays a great part. I think Geelong are definitely going to rue the fact that they didn't improve. I could see them falling out of the top 4 with the way it's going right now. So because of that fact, I'm giving these guys a D.
What did they do? They traded Pat Retchko for pick 99, and they got in James Warple.
Let's go.
That is quite literally it. They made their best attempt at a Charlie Curnow trade, which was their 3 first-round picks, and obviously Carlton weren't going to accept that. They wanted a player and 3 first-round picks, which is completely understandable. Yep. And so Geelong were immediately out of that. And as soon as they literally said we're out of that Curnow trade, they didn't even bother going back for Marshall until 5 minutes left in the trade period. And so when you're considering this isn't what Geelong do, I think it's a big fail. I don't know if I'd give it an F, but you're considering what they could have got in, which would have been Warple and Marshall. They didn't do that. And I think if I'm Geelong, I'm a Geelong fan, which I would hate to be. You know, I mean, I wouldn't success-wise, but I'd just hate to be. I'd hate to brand myself as a Geelong fan. That's one way to put it.
Because you're a St Kilda fan, but keep going.
I would be very disappointed because you had almost a week to be able to deal with St Kilda over a Rowan Marshall trade. St Kilda listened to it in the end. As much as they said in the media and in the public sphere, we're happy to keep Rowan Marshall, they were listening to offers. And had you have obviously gone in on it, actually, instead of just being a half-assed attempt, you would have been able to secure his services. And I think that would have really helped them next year, but they didn't. And I think overall, I'm giving it a D.
Yep.
Just a flat D.
Yeah, I did the same thing, so I can't disagree with you. And the reason I gave them the D is because, because the team that comes afterwards, the Gold Coast Suns, heavily improved.
Woo.
Not just in the things they brought in, but on top of that, they've set themselves up for the upcoming draft too, with all the picks that they've got for their 2 guys in Dylan Patterson, I believe, and Zeke Ewland. So they've got those 2 who are going to be coming in with their draft pick submissions, as well as the fact that they got Jamara at a really low risk, high reward type. Well, maybe not high reward, but, you know, his output could be good, especially considering the Max King situation coming up next season. And then, of course, the big name, Petrarca, added on top of that. Absolutely.
They were very active.
Fiery. Yeah, very. They had to be for all they wanted. They had a fiery midfield graphic that showed up. I was really, really, I love seeing those pictures of Noah Anderson, Took Miller, Matt Rowell, and Christian Petrarca all together. It's a really, really exciting prospect, that team. It's hard not to go past A+ for these guys. And also because I see them being a top 4 side now. They kind of have to be with the expectation.
100%. Yeah.
They're not just getting better now, they're getting better for the future. And so we said this during the season as well. This team looks to be a dynasty in the making.
Yeah.
Some will call it nepotism. Others will call it greatness, and we'll have to wait and see.
So their total ins and outs. They traded away Sam Flanders, traded away Malcolm Roses Jr., traded away Ben Ainsworth. They got in Jamara Ugle-Hagan and Christian Petrarca.
And technically Zeke Ewland and Dylan Patterson.
Eventually. You just consider those 2 players and you've already fucking won the trade period.
Yeah, I mean, on the negative side, you could actually see it going and backfiring on them.
No.
Petrarca's injury concerns at times, Jamara's personality issues.
Even if it backfires on them,
issues.
they didn't lose anything to the point where they're going to be considerably worse. And they're a very young team.
I was going to say, I think there's just too much for them.
It's just ridiculous.
They brought in too much for it to fail, it feels like.
Yeah, so Gold Coast traded away Malcolm Roses Jr. for pick 51 and 69, which ended up just going to be picks, obviously.
Yep.
It was a straight swap with pick 7 for Sam Flanders, which I think overall suited them quite nicely. They traded in Jamar Ugle-Hagan for pick 74, a former first-round pick.
First pick. Not first round, first pick.
First overall pick. They traded away Connor Butterick as well, who sort of lost his spot given John Noble and Daniel Roll came in.
Yep.
And got in pick 37, which again, ended up trading to Melbourne, but you got Christian Petrarca back. So yada, yada, yada. They also got in pick 29, traded away Ben Ainsworth, which is completely good value, I think, for him. I think that's probably overs. And then the Christian Petrarca deal, sure, you gave up pick 7 and 8 and a future first, but you got in 24, 28 and a future second that you're going to need to get in 2 top 5 picks. So 7 and 8 means shit fuck all.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got in a superstar in Christian Petrarca.
Yep.
Who's just going to mentor Bailey Humphrey and make him into Dustin Martin. Like, if you're a Gold Coast fan, you are doing naughty things to this list management team.
All 500 of the Suns fans are going absolutely rowdy. I'm interested to see how their membership grows.
They don't have a NAS deal. That's all I'm going to say.
That is true.
Unfortunately.
But then membership's going to grow in droves, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. So overall, there's nothing to criticize, and there is everything to praise.
Yeah.
A+.
A+. GWS, on the other hand, some A+ deals, but not as much as Gold Coast in that sense. God, the expansion sides ate really good from Melbourne. They got Clayton Oliver for a 3rd round pick.
Yep.
And his deal is being paid by Melbourne still.
Yep.
Like half his deal.
Yep. Unbelievable.
What else did GWS do? They brought in Jaden Laverde.
Brought in Jaden Laverde and ended up keeping Lee Elliott, which was a big talking point during it. Surprisingly, 2 of their players got wined and dined for 2 years. You know which one got media coverage? Lee Elliott. You know which one didn't? Wade Dirksen.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as he said that, I thought, who? I could not tell.
That's sad. Melbourne should be absolutely fired for that. No, I'm joking. They don't have anyone to fire because their entire front office is
no
just
one has
full
the
of
authority.
interims.
Yeah, no one has the authority at Melbourne to do so.
They moved up for pick 12, trading away pick 14 and 37. Nothing really much there. And aside from that, they did nothing. Like, they quite literally did nothing. So, I mean, Clayton Oliver, going to take a fair bit to get him back to his best.
Yeah.
Also a questionable fit next to Tom Green and Stephen Cornelio.
But sometimes new environments can do that stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets back to his best, that is one of the best trades you'll ever see.
Exactly.
But there's also a chance it's not a Jesse Hoker situation.
It's a wishing upon a star as well.
Yeah. So overall, did they get better? Slightly. Did they do enough to the point where they're going to not make finals? Sorry, where they're not going to be out first week of finals? Arguably not.
Hawthorn.
We didn't give them a grade. Let's grade them.
Yeah, quickly. GWS.
Interesting one. C-.
Damn it. C-.
You're too slow, baby.
Hawthorn. This is the second half of this horrific failed trade.
Talk about whining and dining.
Oh, my God. You literally had his manager chanting in the Hawthorn
quite literally was running a marathon, but was also acting like the greatest man of all time.
The man had all the power, it felt like. Yet used none of it, or couldn't get to use any of it, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really a matter of, and it's a big thinking type of, it's more of a future discussion, this one. Will we see this as a fail? I think yes.
Yep.
Because Brisbane and Gold Coast seem to be really ramping up, they needed a big scrape like Zach Merritt to get him over the line. They haven't lost Gunston just yet, but there's always the worry that he's
relying
going to
on
fall
a
off.
34-year-old to kick 70 goals again.
There's improvements here and there, but at the same time,
they lost 3 players.
Merritt would help them out a ton. He really would. Like I said, his value is going to go down next year because of the fact he wasn't traded. It's not because of his play. I think his play and him as a player is fantastic. Hence why I think it'd work really well in Hawthorn's system. It's not going to work in Essendon's system. Hawthorn are really going to be upset about the fact that they couldn't improve their list because, basically it feels like a 2-man race now for the premiership, and they're both in Queensland.
They lost James Warple, Jai Sarong, and CJ. They traded a few later picks and pick 9 to get in pick 10 and 22, and they also lost Jai Sarong, who they got in a 3rd-round pick for.
The only way this really works, and like I said, it's only going to matter about the future.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what 10 and 22 happen to do, whether they use it for a trade to go up or use it for something else. I'm not sure. But this trade deadline for them was make or break on that trade with Essendon. It didn't happen. As close to F as you can get for me, D-.
I mean, they quite literally just lost plays, didn't get anyone in, and weren't willing to give up another 1st-round pick for a player when you're trying to be in the premiership window. They literally got worse in a team that's trying to contend. I don't know how we can consider this anything else but a D at best.
Unless somehow one of the draft picks that they take up...
Even still, it's going to take at least 2 years for them to make an impact.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless it's instant impact. But that's,
pick
again,
10,
wishing on a star is so much worse than instant impact like
pick
Merritt would have
10
been.
in this year's draft immediately moves back to pick 14.
Yep.
Pick 14 is going to take at least a year and a bit to get anywhere good at AFL level. especially impacting in a winning team, unless you're somehow Murphy Reed. But like even still, that was ridiculous and an insanely talented draft. This is an F. This is an F for Hawthorn because they fucked up. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, there's so much I could say about that trade that I need to leave because we need to keep moving on. Melbourne, yeah, F. This one was bad from the minute we realised that this team decided to break it up. Once the new coach was announced, I 100% would say, I mean, they're basically passing the guard over.
Is that a bad thing, though?
Yeah, I was going to say, you could argue it's a good thing, but I'd say the fact that it's a year too late is the reason it's a bad thing. It's what we were saying all Wednesday night. This team needed to do all of this a year before it happened. So while I commend them for really getting the cogs turning now, yeah, they could have gotten so much more. So much more. Here we are now going, wow, you really let go of Clary for a third round pick? Like, I understand now it makes sense, but last year it wouldn't have. And then Christian Petrarca, I mean, you got some good out of him. At least you got that. But now you've got a Cozzy Pickett who may want to get out sometime soon, who may want to leave.
True.
You've got Max Gawn, who's, I mean, a fantastic player, but he's going to be on the way out. Well, not on the way out from the club, but from his best of the best play. Stephen May, from what it looks like, is not wanted.
He's probably going to play Casey level for most of the year.
And not only that, they're in the mud for so much of their money.
I'm not as negative as you are. I'm nowhere near that.
Okay. Let me hear his perspective.
They lost Spargo, Oliver, McVee, and Petrarca, which is a lot. It is a lot. I understand that. And it's going to hurt them in the short term. But when you consider what their long-term plan was, keeping those players was not helping that. So it was a forced move to get rid of them. When you consider you got 3 first-round picks for Oliver and Petrarca, I think you take that as face-level value this year, wouldn't you?
I guess so. I just think, considering it could have been more.
Could have been, understand that. They made that decision wrong. But I think when you consider they've had to make up a lot on the run, I think they've done overall well. Got a pick 42 in exchange for Charlie Spargo as a free agent. Got pick 23 for Judd McVee, which I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up. Got in Max Heath, who's going to be a solid backup ruckman for Max Gawn, obviously. Got a experienced key forward who can be physical, which is exactly what they need in Brody Majacek. And they didn't really give up anything for him. Like, a future third means nothing.
Yep.
So I think one on that front. And then they got CJ for that Charlie Spargo deal, which is essentially a straight swap.
Yeah, straight swap.
Where they didn't actually give up any value. It's just a straight swap, which I think got younger in a position of need, works out for them. Then you've got that Petrarca deal and the Oliver deal where they got a future third. You're setting yourself up much better now, where you've got 8 first-round picks in 4 years. Obviously, 2 in 23, 24. You got 2 now in 25, and you got yours and Gold Coast pick next year. You want to trade up? I wouldn't be surprised if you do that at all. You've got the ability now where you've got 7 and 8, where you can trade up to a pick 1 or a pick 2, or you can just get more talent in. They've set themselves up nicely. As much as they didn't like that they didn't do it earlier, they've put themselves in a much better position than keeping any of these players.
My only argument to that is, sure, they've set themselves up nicely, but what do all these additions do for them? For me, I think it middles them out.
Which additions?
So adding that forward depth, per se, it's what they needed.
They got Majacek and they got in CJ. Those are the only 2 player additions.
Yeah, I get that. At the same time, though, they could have loaded up on some more picks potentially. They could have used some of those players as, in the sense that Checkers is going to be a nice mentoring situation, I guess. Heath coming in will be a really good situation considering he's behind Max Gawn. So there's a nice maybe passing of the guard there in the near future. We'll wait and see. But I think this team has put too much on the idea that what they're doing right now can work both ways, right? I think, sure, they've got themselves a lot of picks set up for the next 2 years, especially first rounders. That's a really, really nice thing. But the fact is that they are walking into a situation where they have the talent to keep them out of the bottom 4, but that's probably not what they want to be doing. I think this team should have. They should be doing a lot of what they did with Stephen May. Realistically, why they paid out Clary and brought in Steele, I don't know why.
Oh, yeah,
Why
they
you
bring
wouldn't
Jack
just
Steele.
keep Clary?
Yep.
That's another thing I'd also point
Off-field
out.
stuff. Getting in a good bloke for a shit bloke.
I guess so.
I would take that every day of the week.
It depends on how you look at it. Because
Getting out of Cantor and getting in a really good leader.
you'd hope, I guess you'd hope it's a good cultural thing. You hope it does that.
I'm positive on Melbourne. I'm giving them a B-.
I could not go that high. I think if you were to reshape the way I perceive it, the highest you could see me go is D+.
Oh, that's...
Losing Oliver and Petrarca,
I don't
and then also having a future that,
you're rating,
sounds
you're
good on
rating
paper.
Oliver way too highly.
I
You're rating
guess
Oliver way
so.
too
You could argue that, but I think their future is still kind of bleak on paper.
Well, yeah, any team future that just traded away 2 superstars and doesn't really have anything else and just got rid of their coach isn't going to be bright. But they're making the best of a situation they put themselves into.
I just think B- is too high. That's all.
I'm
Need to move
going
on from
B-.
Melbourne, though. North Melbourne. We'll go through these guys quickly because,
You did
what did
nothing.
they do?
Yeah.
Charlie Spargo and Charlie Spargo in, Finbar Maley out. What the hell?
Tried to trade Jai Simpkin for 2 first-round
Tried
picks
to basically ask the world of Collingwood for
Yeah.
Jai Simpkin.
and then made a late play for Charlie Kerno, basically saying 2 first-round picks and Jai Simpkin. Deal or no deal?
Jesus.
I genuinely could...
Oh, Brady Rawlings!
To be a fly on the wall in that Carlton room when they got that trade offer would have been the greatest
Tell
thing
him
of all
go
time.
away. That's what it would have been. Ugh.
As a North fan, what are your thoughts? Honest, uncensored thoughts on what you just witnessed.
It just gets really, really hard to stay positive with Brady Rawlings. I remember him when he played for us as a general manager. Ever since I started paying attention and the Richmond trade from last year happened, I've been very unimpressed. I understand sometimes North have the limitations of being North Melbourne. They're in a very team-heavy state and not a team that people want to go to. But that's not to say that they can't at least try in good faith to improve, not try to rob Collingwood.
Hey, we are the worst defense in the league. Let's not get any better defensively. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that we didn't improve on that part, but at the same time, what defender's going to come down?
Stephen May.
I guess so, yeah, technically. More of a
Offer
reason to give...
off a leak at least $750K a year.
Yeah, should have given him something. Apparently it's too much for us.
But
But 2 first rounders for Jai Simpkin is perfect.
This is my best Brady Rawlings impression. Come with me, camera 3. Charlie Combin's good.
hate
Ain't
it
the
when
core,
I
yeah.
hate it when this bloke thinks he's funny. Yeah,
Shut up, woke.
mate. What do I do? Do I give him an F?
F.
All right, I'll give him an F.
I understand trading away the Finbar Maley thing because you got in Cooper Trembath, who looks really good and looks better than Finbar. But aside from that, literally nothing good out of this.
Port Adelaide. Jacob Ware.
Did nothing.
It's very much a
Will Brodie doing nothing.
yeah, exactly. It's very much a nothing trade period
Zach,
again.
Zach Butters
Zach Butters
requested a trade
leaving.
with 4 weeks left. No. Oh, but next year you want to? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Port's thinking.
What is their direction?
Exactly. There's no way to look at how they've done this. And
what
understand
I've
it.
said before is, okay, what is their direction? How have they executed? What is their direction? Can you tell me what their direction is?
Pray to God, Zach Butters doesn't go.
Did they execute that? We don't know.
Technically.
We have no idea. I'd be willing to give this a C because I have no idea. I'd be willing to give this an F because I have no idea.
Yeah.
I genuinely have no idea.
Considering it doesn't look positive, I'm leaning towards the bottom end of it. I'll give him a D. D plus because you made some additions at least. D plus.
Do they want to win or do they want to be shit?
Yeah, exactly. That really is the way you got to look at it. Do you want your team to be good? It's. You just had a year with Ken Hinkley where you did nothing. You just had a nothing year. You can't have another nothing year. Oh my God, we're going to be seeing Port put the tarps out again soon.
They might be a genuine bottom 4 finish next year.
Yeah, I could say it. Yeah, I'm going with D plus. because
I'll
I can't.
give him my D.
No worries. You can do whatever you
Zach Butters can do whatever he wants to me.
want. Richmond. God, if you were talking about a team that did nothing, Richmond. What did they
Traded
do?
away Tyler Young.
Yep.
Let me search up right now. What did they do?
Well, everyone
landed
knew
Pat
that.
Rechko, the greatest player of all time.
Yeah,
what do you
everyone
mean?
knew that they weren't going to.
How
really
did you
be
forget
doing
Pat
much.
Rechko?
Yeah, sorry.
Mate, what are you doing? We're sacking you right
Yeah,
now.
that's
you
fine.
cannot forget Pat Rechko.
That's fine.
That is the one name that is here, but apparently Tyler Young isn't here.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
missed that
no
trade.
one expected Richmond to do anything. There was like rumblings of Loston going, so like if people wanted to reach out to see
I
what he
think
was
that was
doing.
more man-made, to be honest.
Yeah, it was more you.
Duh.
You wanted Loston gone.
Yeah, I wanted to go to the Bulldogs. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
You got a lot of the work done last year when you traded away your second-round pick for pick 3.
How good is that?
Could you imagine? Which team would be willing to trade away
If the
pick
third pick
27
becomes
for pick 3?
If the third pick becomes like a Norm Smith medalist, I think I may like jump off a bridge.
You know who Richmond's last pick 3 was?
Oh no. Oh, no. No.
If the audience doesn't know,
Oh, no.
Reese, would you be so kind to tell the audience what
It's Dustin Martin.
arguably the greatest player of our generation?
Oh, it all works out so well. I hate this. Let's move to St Kilda.
Richmond get a say.
NA.
Yeah, literally, you did fucking nothing. Fuck me.
St Kilda. Positivities all round, realistically.
Let's go, baby.
I wouldn't say A+, because there's question marks as to whether this makes you a premiership contender versus just a finals.
What did we want to do?
You wanted to be a competitive finals team,
we wanted to be
realistically.
making finals next year.
Yeah.
How did we do that? Did we execute that? We look pretty good so far.
Externally, it looks
So-
like you've nailed it.
Overall, got in Sam Flanders, Tom DeKoning, Jack Silvani, and Liam Ryan. Traded away Jack Steele. That's a very positive outlook in my personal opinion.
Mhm.
Obviously, traded away a first-round pick for Flanders, traded away a future second and got in a future third for Liam Ryan. Moved away from the Leaker deal, which I think in the end suited us more. Obviously, you have to pay some of Jack Steele's salary, which isn't great. But you got in Tom DeKoning and you got in Jack Silvani for absolutely nothing. And you kept Callum Wilkie, you kept Naz, you kept Windy. Brilliant outlook in that. They don't really have much in this year's draft aside from Kai Fincher, who's an NGA player, because his mum gave birth to him overseas, and that's it. That's the only reason. It's not like he's actually foreign. He's just born foreign.
Yes, technically, yeah.
Born in the USA.
God,
Sorry.
you need to stop like going off on these tangents.
I'm
You need to
autistic.
just stick to the script and what we've got here.
Very positive for St Kilda.
Yes. I'd say A because it's more a dependency on
What they do next year.
on where it gets them.
Yeah. Because it's all
But-
well and good to do all this,
Yeah.
but if it doesn't end up resulting in a net win season, it means nothing for them.
I've said it many a time. Off-season winner is a dangerous term. Let's wait and see whether it's a positive one this time. Sydney.
What was your grade again?
I gave St Kilda an A.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Sydney. So the big one, Charlie Curnow. Big spot of need.
I've seen a lot of talk about Sydney online, and there's a lot of stuff saying, is it that good for them?
I understand where they're coming from in that sense, because it's like Charlie Curnow had
Yeah.
a really poor season
Yeah.
last year compared to his usual standards. But at the same time,
He's
he's in a really good situation.
He is one of the best key forwards in the league. Will Hayward's not getting you anywhere. Ollie Florence not getting you anywhere. You're already going to get a top 25 prospect in this year's draft than Max King, which is debatable, but he was still up there earlier in the year.
Yep.
You're going to get a couple later picks in about the 35 to 40 range in Noah Chamberlain and I can't remember the other bloke's name. You don't need these picks. Will Hayward's not going to kick you 40 goals in a year, realistically. Charlie Curnow's going to get you 65.
If it goes to plan.
I'm more so interested in the defensive setup because getting in Jai Strong, I think, was the right idea.
Yeah.
But whether, given they got in Curnow, maybe Logan McDonald goes down back, which I think size-wise is a better fit. I think Sarong just replaces what Dane Ramby does. So it'd be McCartan, potentially McDonald, and then Ramby or Sarong, and then Blakey. I think that's how they'd set up. Overall, they got better, but they're not as deep as they were last year.
I'd say it's more the holes that they still have glaring.
Yeah, they
Because
didn't
they
fix
have
it.
patched some, but they haven't patched all.
They didn't fix the main one, which is that still key defensive position.
It's a case where they are almost like a much more solid backline version of North Melbourne, if that makes sense, in the sense that they have their strengths are very clearly midfield and forward line. You'd say midfield 100%,
Yeah.
and you'd say forward line is looking pretty all right.
The forward
There's
line,
good
they're
things here and
okay.
there. But
Before
their
Kerno,
back line is their
they
problem.
were okay.
Obviously, it's nowhere near North Melbourne's disappointing situation, but because they've still got like the likes of Blakey and they're brought in Sarong, but there's still a question mark back there. I'm giving these guys an A- for the Kerno signing almost entirely. If they had added some more backline depth, or even just starting
I still
backline
think
players,
they could.
yeah, there's potential. I would have given these guys a higher grade, and I'm even close to giving them B+ because I still think the fact that it's so vacant back there could be a problem. But who knows? Logan McDonald move if it happens.
Could they have gone for a Stephen May? I still think they will go for Sam Frost, and I think they'll pick him up because I still think he has an AFL home, and I think he'd work well alongside Tom McDonald. Tom McCartan, Jesus Christ. But I mean, overall, they got players in that are actually going to do something for them and could take them to that next level. Just debating whether it's an A level. Give me a reason why it shouldn't be an A-.
Because they've still got a few holes in their backline. That's how I'd kind of describe it.
Yeah, the
There's
Logan
still
McDonald
glaring
move.
holes.
Yeah.
And you're relying on a player who's played forward his entire career to be a good backline player.
B+, thank you very much.
West Coast.
Interesting team.
Starcevic is now part of your team. He's gone from the best to the worst team. So we'll find out how that turns into hopefully improvement for them next season. Oscar Allen, it's not that bad, to be honest, considering they got the compo pick.
Yep.
And they've still got plenty to go around. They've got a lot of... The chips are on their table. They're the ones to make the move. The ball's in their court. So I'm not too negative on these guys. I think because it's so high up in the draft. Maybe I'm blinded by the 1 and the 2 pick. It is obviously just up to how they work those guys into the system.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give these guys a B-.
They didn't do a lot. Let's be real. Sorry, they did do a lot, but they didn't do anything insanely major-wise. Like, obviously, the Allen stuff was a free agent move.
It's not like a lot of their off-season positives are because of the fact that they went out and did that.
Yeah.
They were pick number 1.
I think they were just a very solid, we'll do 6 A- trades. Like, you got in Tyler Young for nothing, who's just going to be a stopgap in the meantime, because he's already like 26 or something. You traded away Campbell Chester, which, I mean, he wanted to leave, but it was already looking like a not great pick.
You brought in Tyler Young, yeah.
Yeah, you got in a future second-round pick for Liam Ryan, which I think you're pretty happy with.
Yeah.
You got in pick 2 for Oscar Allen, which you're happy with. You got in Brandon Starcevic, as well as getting pick 12 in the same trade.
Would you give them an A for that?
Yes.
Even though some of it wasn't even their doing?
They traded away 16, 22, and 33 to get in 12, 33, and Brandon Starcevic.
It does make me want to go up to a B.
That's a really good trade, in my opinion, right there.
But
right?
I'm just thinking, how much of a positive can you give their off-season if for me in particular, my positive thinking comes from the fact that they were just bad last year.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about that.
So
but
I'll go to B. I just don't see myself going to an A for these guys.
There's still a lot to play out with them, I feel.
Absolutely.
When you consider they've still got 1 and 2, they've got pick 12 as well, which is now 13. So 1, 2, 13 in the draft. You trade that out, maybe you go 1, 7, 8, 13. Oh, I'm licking my lips. Or 2, 7, 8, 13. You're licking your lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really happy with that.
And then final team for today's episode, we've got the Western Bulldogs.
What did they do? They got in.
They tried their hardest to get a backman.
Did they really?
They tried for Silvani, didn't get him, so they're like, screw you, St Kilda. We're going to go for Wilkie. Apparently he considered it, but stayed with the Saints. And then they brought in Connor Butterick.
Yep.
Lost their first overall pick from 5 years back for pick 74.
Yep.
So just in a vacuum in that particular trade. Jesus, that's awful.
So quite literally, what happened was they traded pick 12 for 14 Butterick. They traded pick 12 and Ugelhagen for 14 Butterick and pick 70.
Doesn't sound great on paper, does it?
No.
Yeah.
Were they trying to get better? Yes. Did they get better? No.
So go down to the negative side, yeah.
Ew.
You're never beating the allegations, bro.
Oh, I'm not. What allegations? It's just factual. Like, I am in the government system as being autistic.
Oh no!
Like, it's not a debate. I just factually am.
That's why you can make 18-team trades happen. You just have that much concentration on things like that. But
yeah, definitely not on anything else in my life.
yeah,
they needed a key back.
They needed
didn't
one,
do
and
that.
they didn't get it.
They made a late play for Mark Keane. Were they really expecting to do that? I mean,
I hope not.
I really think if they're trying to go for a key back, maybe go for someone realistic. But they said, if we're going for a key back, we only want A-grade players.
Yeah,
Mate, you just need a C-grade player because it's better than anyone else.
All 17 clubs need A-grade players as well, I'd like to think. So
why would not getting an A-grade player stop you from getting a C-grade or B-grade player?
Yeah. Like, get Butts. Try and get Jordan Butts.
Quite literally, get the bloke who's a backup to your third option.
Yeah.
Watch them get Mitch McGovern now.
Because it's a nothing burger for me, but it's also not good.
Burger.
I want to go with a D for the
Burger.
doggies. I want to go with a D.
Burger.
Yeah, nothing burger.
Burger.
You hungry, are you?
No, it's
We'll
just
get some
what.
food after
It's
the
just how
podcast.
Cal Freezy says burger.
Concentrate on the task at hand. What is your grade for the Western Bulldogs?
D minus.
Fair. Hard to say it's a fail because they didn't really ruin everything, but they didn't.
Have
do
they got
anything.
the same list? Yes. Is it still somewhat young? Yes. Are they going to be good? Probably. Good enough? No.
Good enough for for the actual aspirations?
They're not going to win a flag next year.
No. Yeah. For me, it's D.
It's just not good enough.
Fair enough. That's how we're going to end today's episode as well, with a bit of a negative on the doggies. I know that it's not the greatest way to finish it off, but we've been through everyone's trade deadlines. We now move to the draft. I think we'll get stuck into the draft next week a little bit, but thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on all our platforms. Appreciate you once again for joining me, Femi, and we'll see you all for episode 36 next week.
See ya.
Cheers.